Hello once again, my good people and readers of awesome literature. My name is, as usual, Nick Pell, and for the first time, I believe this is coming from a library study room. My dorm area in college is occupied at the moment, and I haven't really found a good spot to film yet. So I finished reading up the One Piece books in here quick, and I'm about to review them now. Before I get into anything else, I'm going to say this. There will be a few spoilers in this review just based on the fact that I will be going through the whole crew, the whole Straw Hat crew. No other characters besides them, just because it would take way too much time. And so some will be spoiled in terms of who joins the crew, so some events in that aspect will be spoiled, but I will attempt to my very hardest extent to not spoil any major plot events. Know that. Also know that I read these books over a course of many months, so I'm not going to remember every detail, so I apologize for that. Yeah, I just finished up volume 60, and that is what I'm reviewing from. So One Piece volumes 1 through 60. So yeah, I don't know when the next batch will be reviewed, but it'll be probably 60 through 120 or something whenever that happens. So it'll probably be a number of years from now. Yeah, let's begin as usual with the characters. And our first character is the main one in the story, Monkey D. Luffy. He has the power of the Gum Gum fruit, and that allows his skin and body to be kind of transformed into rubber. He can stretch himself any number of ways and to a great distance. That's how he uses all of his attacks and everything of that nature. Here's our main character. He is very charismatic. He cares immensely about his friends. He will do pretty much anything to help them if necessary. There's a part at the very beginning of the series where he just meets up with the third character I'll talk about, Nami, when she's just at her lowest depth. She doesn't know what to do, and Luffy really steps up and he helps her out, and I thought that was really cool scene. And that's just something that's one of the scenes that I remember Luffy showing, like, how really a good person that he is and how willing he is to help out anyone that is in need of his help. And our second character is Zolo, and he is the swordsman of the group, and he's an infamous bounty hunter. At the start, when Luffy meets him, he's actually Luffy's first mate. He is the first person that he meets and recruits into his pirate crew. And his goal is to be the greatest swordsman in the world. Zolo quickly realizes that goal is going to be much more difficult to reach than he originally anticipated when he was defeated by a very, very powerful swordsman. And our third character is Nami, and she is more of a thief than anything. She uses her looks and her brains to kind of outwit people, and eventually farther into the story she kind of gains her own set of powers in terms of the weather, and because she's a navigator, and she knows the weather, she knows how to deal with it, and so she eventually Usopp develops a stick that can manipulate weather in a certain way. And that leads us to our fourth character, who is Usopp. And Usopp is this kid, kind of like Luffy, who always dreamed of becoming a great pirate, but he was always a coward. Luffy, Zolo, and Nami meet up with him at one point and just kind of help him out in his town, and Luffy and Usopp kind of form a friendship, and Usopp eventually ends up going with them after Luffy, Zolo, and Nami help save his town and the woman that he loves. Yeah, that's Usopp. He's a very interesting character. Later in the volumes, he actually does something very drastic, and it's really interesting to see Luffy's reaction to that and the reaction of the crew in general. So yeah, that's something to look forward to if you haven't read these before. Our next character is Sanji, and he is probably one of the coolest characters in the series, just because he's a very smooth talker. He's a ladies' man, but he's also the chef of the group. He attacks with his feet, and he kind of like Luffy will do whatever needs to be done for his friends. He's also in a very big competition with Zolo half the time, and it's very funny to see their little dialogues going back and forth whenever they have to fight with each other. So yeah, that's kind of a cool thing about Sanji. And then we also have Chopper, and he is a reindeer who Luffy and the gang meet on a snow island, and he is the doctor of the group, and his story is also a very interesting one, which I'm not going to talk about here, but he has a power where he can transform his body into either a giant reindeer or into his little cute form, or into an actual animal reindeer. and it's a very interesting skill, and it's something that comes in handy from time to time. We also have Robin and Nico Robin, and you'll realize this fairly quickly. She is originally an enemy of Luffy's, but after events in Alabasta, Nico Robin actually joins up with Luffy and his group, and it's really interesting to see her little side story and everything like that. And second to last, we have Frankie, who is like part human, part robot, and he is the kind of the engineer of the group. He's a shipbuilder, and he designs Luffy and the gang this amazing ship that becomes their new ship after something happens to the one that they're on. He's a very funny character. He wears a Speedo all the time. He's just quite a comical one. And our last character is Brook, who is a talking skeleton, and he is the last main character of Luffy's crew that we meet as of now, and he shows up fairly close to the end of the volumes, like in the 30s or 40s, I'm not sure which, probably 40s. Yeah, he is the musician of the group, and he is a very interesting character. I know I say they're all interesting characters, which they are, but I don't really want to go into too much detail with them because A, it would take time, and B, I don't want to. Yeah, know that there are many other characters in this story, but like I said earlier, it would take much too much time to go into all of them, and I don't want this to be a 30-minute review. So, those are the pirate crew of Luffy. He obviously faces off against many enemies, he meets many allies, and there are many other people who are important to this series, but they aren't always in the story as a whole. So, know that, and we move on to the plot. And like I kind of said earlier, the plot revolves around Monkey D. Luffy, and he wants to be the greatest pirate of all time. He wants to be the king of the pirates, and kind of become what a famous pirate named Gold D. Roger was. And yeah, it's basically just about his adventures, him recruiting new shipmates, kind of saving people when he can. He's like one of the only legitimately good pirates, good as in like morally good pirates that are on the ocean. I mean, like, if you look at the number of good pirates and the number of really mean ones or evil ones that are on the sea, it's usually bad pirates that outweigh the good ones. So Luffy and his crew are a batch of good pirates, and it's really interesting to see where their adventures take them. There are many different story arcs that are in this series so far. I think there's like 7 or so, and it ends with the Paramount War series. The next one that I believe they're still on in America is the New World series. I know you can watch others online and stuff, but yeah, that's the story. Each one is about 200 pages. It's a manga, so you read it backwards to forwards. And yeah, I really enjoy it. And it's a really quick read. You can get through one of them in like an hour. And yeah, it's a really good story. Moving on to theme. First theme I would probably say is adventure, in terms of just like the spirit of adventure, and Luffy and his crew kind of been embracing that factor. I guess you could say loyalty is another one, in terms of Luffy being loyal to his friends and them to him as their captain, and also the way that Luffy like has an ability to make people like him and just generally like him. Like during the Paramount War, I'm just going to use this as an example because it's the one I just finished. You see these groups of people who would, under normal circumstances, not join Luffy at all. They're all banding together behind him because he is such an inspiration, and he just wants to do this act which many people have deemed impossible to do, and yet he is still immensely confident in his ability to succeed because he sees no other option but success. Those are 2 themes. I didn't really think about those in advance too much, but yeah, know that they're there. I'm sure there's more, and we move on to enjoyment. In terms of the series as a whole, I have very much enjoyed all 60 volumes so far. Like I said, I'll be starting 61, 2, and 3 really soon with the New World. I figured this would be a good time to review it because this is during the 2-year gap, and right after very big significant events occurred during the Paramount War. But I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it if you like pirate stuff. if you like manga, if you watched the show as a kid, if you subscribe to Shonen Jump like I did as a kid. But yeah, it's just a really good story. It's a really good adventure story. I hadn't touched One Piece for a number of years until my friend at college had them all, and I just decided to borrow them from her. So, yeah, highly recommended, like I've said already. So next up will be Heroine Diaries, and then The Hobbit, and then you'll see what's up after that. As always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. If you so choose, I would highly appreciate it. I know this isn't one of my usual reviews, but like I said earlier, I haven't really found a good spot to film yet. And I need to put this review up tomorrow, or if you're watching it Sunday today. I needed to get it done quick. And so, yeah. As usual, my name is Nick Pell, and as always, my good people, keep on reading.